Congrats on the film. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
I just wondered for you what the lure was to this story, because it's, we've seen a lot of similar stories about, the future of the human race, and if Earth was to not exist anymore, where would we go? But this one seemed very, very different, had a very unique approach to it. I just wondered whether that was kind of the lure to wanting to work with Neil on this one.
I mean, I think there was lots of reasons I wanted to work on this film. Well, I read the script and I fell in love with the script. I thought it was really, really well written. I thought the dialogue was really interesting. And I thought Zach was just written so well. And his character was so interesting to me, and his kind of the transformation he goes through, and the way all of the characters really, in a sense, they sort of revert back to this kind of animalistic, very raw kind of base primal human level, which I thought was really interesting to see. And it was something that I hadn't seen done in a sort of sci-fi genre type thing.
Yeah, and it's also, you've got this great kind of device of you all being kind of enclosed in these corridors and in these rooms and everything else. Was it as claustrophobic to film in some respects that it was when we watch it? Because there's a real sense of that when you see all of you guys trying to keep yourself together, if you like.
Definitely. I mean, if anything, it was potentially more claustrophobic. It was like the sets were incredible. They were really, really well done. And all of that kind of added to the performance and made it that bit easier to do the scenes, because they were incredibly closed off. The corridors and the rooms were very tight and close. It was also the middle of summer in Romania, so it was boiling hot. It was usually like over 30 degrees most days. And we were in those kind of tight semi-lycra costumes. So the whole thing did feel very claustrophobic and tight, and it definitely sort of built up the tension a bit more.
Yeah. And for your character, the thing you've just said there reminded me of something Christian Bale said about when he was Batman, that he sweated a lot and got lots of headaches in the suit, but he kind of used it to his advantage to portray the character. Did that help you with Zach? Because his journey is very much that he descends a bit and becomes quite, as you say, animalistic and quite raw, and wants to kind of, not to give anything away, but wants to do things his way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. I think it did help. It's that kind of those feelings of that kind of feeling of tension. And I think anyone knows when you're in like a poorly ventilated room and it's boiling hot, you do just naturally get a bit more aggy. But yeah, so I think it did help. It was the harder thing was because like I said, there wasn't a whole lot of ventilation once you were on the set. The harder thing was trying to stay kind of alert and focused and be able to do, because it's, when it's hot like that and there's not that much air, you suddenly get really drowsy. Even if you've had 10 hours sleep, you suddenly just sort of find yourself like swaying all over the place. But yeah, I think it was, in the end, it was worth it.
And in terms of that and the as you say, the claustrophobia and all that kind of stuff, was this harder than something like Dunkirk, or was Dunkirk harder, or were they kind of very different?
Just very different, roles, very different scripts, and very different shooting locations and sets and everything. Dunkirk was hard in a much more, it was much more physical, I guess. And we were kind of battling the elements a lot. So there's a lot of like battling the rain and everything. And this was, whereas Voyagers was physically, there was some physical challenges involved, but it was much more like you said, trying to keep your sanity in those closed off sets with no daylight coming in. Yeah.
Fun gig.
Great, though. I had a really good time on it. It was, despite all of that, I really enjoyed myself.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for your time, mate. Love to see you again.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey,